Since it's really very late, and I will only point some major ideas or maybe the spirit of the Dignilogue that we had this morning. So 20 years ago, I remember it was January 95, I was invited to a meeting. It was a meeting that was organized by one of the very person who has much influence in the Israeli society. He was a senior officer in the army, of course, but he was later the director of the Van Leer Institute, and he has much influence and good connections. And he is a social entrepreneur. He has vision. And he asked to meet a small group of organizational consultants. And he told us, I think that human dignity is a very problematic issue in the Israeli society. And I want you as organizational consultants to start working in order to change the reality in various organizations. Work in schools and in the police and in the prison authority and in hospitals and in the Israeli army and do something. And that's what happened. And I said to myself, oh my God, what he is talking about? 1995, Israel, we had a different reality. It was the era of Oslo agreements. Rabin still, I think it was before the murder, there was hope for peace, for new. So it filled me with hope. But I had no idea how we can start working with, I'm an organizational consultant. I mean, all my high degrees are in this field, which is a combination of organizational psychology and organizational sociology. And we work with people in organizations, especially we have to define. We need to have a definition of what we mean by human dignity, because otherwise everybody can direct it to a different area. And then this is something that I spoke in details with my group, and I will only say it in 3 sentences. So Professor Jacques Schlanger, who is a philosopher from the Hebrew University, came and helped us to create a definition of human dignity. And he made a distinction among three different points of view: honor, respect, and dignity. While honor is, first, it's something very universal. Second, it's very suitable to organizations. Honor is usually it's a polite behavior towards people who are in high positions of influence or powerful. Honor is the source of honor is accorded due to one's status. You honor the president. You honor children are expected to honor their teachers. Some managers need this honor. This is not something that we want to advance it, but we cannot ignore it because it exists in organizations. In some organizations, it's very important part of it, and we have to be aware of it. Another way is respect. Respect is something else. Respect is an inner feeling of one man to another due to his achievements, successes, ability. When you get a prize for something that you do, you are very much respected. People respect a teacher because he is a good teacher. Respect is something that you have to earn it. The bishop said yesterday, dignity is something that you have to earn it, and I disagree with him, because I think that dignity is something else. But respect is something that you have to prove that you did, and you are evaluated by other people. You get your respect because people feel that not only you are a teacher and they are students, so you are in a higher position, but you are a good teacher. You are and they respect you for this. And the third approach is dignity. which derives from the humanistic philosophy, and it means that it's relating to the human dimension that exists in every human being. And the source of dignity is accorded to the person in as much he or she is a person. It means dignity is something that derives from my decision to dignify every human being, while honor and respect always derive from who you are. You have to be a rich person, or you have to be a well-educated person, but dignity means that even children, everybody, every human being has the right to live lives that are dignified. A man who loses his dignity is a shadow. He is a shadow of a human being and not a human being. So this helped us to start working. And now we had to think how we use elements of organizational development approach in order to create change. Because what interests us is how we can help to organizations to change themselves towards more dignity in their daily lives. Wow, this is a long process. This is, first, it is possible. I can tell you now, after 20 years of work, it is possible, but it's so hard. And we do have success, and we do have stories of that are unsuccessful. But what we learned is that first it has to be by systematic approach. It means everybody is involved. If you come to an organization, I talked about school, it means everybody is, even the secretaries and the parents and all students and all teachers, even in half position, or if they are professional teachers or educators, the principal, of course. The leadership is a very, very crucial to the successful of this process, because the leader, in this case the principal of school, he is the one who leads the whole process. If he is not connected to democratic values, and we met incidents like this, it will not work. He will not be able to be in touch with the spirit of human dignity. He has to be aware to himself. When a principal, when a leader, when a manager of an organization says, he sits near me and says to me, I've been changed. I'm doing things in a different way now than I did before. I know that we are on the right way. If he cannot have a self-introspection, it won't work. We are creating teams. We know that in order to lead such a complicated process, you need to work with a steering team that is creating at the beginning of the work, and is composed usually by the management of the organizations, but sometimes people who want to contribute to the process, and they ask even to be part of this steering team, and the team decides all the decisions of how to continue. They decide where to emphasize, how long it takes. We feel it, you know. We have a way, we have the structure, but we are very flexible. And then we know that we have to use evaluation and assessment. And we created, together with professionals who helped us, questionnaires that we deliver twice, before the process begins and after it ends, the same questionnaire, and we can compare the results, what has been changed and what has not been changed. And we do see changes. Not always. I said to the group in the morning, it's not an insurance policy. I can't guarantee that there will be but in cases where people take it seriously and are ready to contribute, not only money, but all other resources, especially time, there is a good chance for change. And then we start by a stage of diagnosis. I will not get inside it, but we need at least a few months to create an organizational diagnosis based on human dignity in order to know what is the present situation. Everything is done together with the people. I'm not a human dignity doctor. I'm not coming to tell you how to be dignified. It doesn't work, and I don't know. I have to be from a very humble point of view. But we must create a stage of diagnosis, and then we create workshops. We facilitate workshops. Many times we encourage people from the organization to facilitate workshops because they have less qualifications of facilitations. But when they come and work with their colleagues, it works in another way. And the purpose of the aim of the workshops is to raise consciousness, to create a new language in the organization. People start to talk in a different way. It's still not a behavioral change, but it's a stage. And then afterwards, together with the people in the organization, we create mechanisms, structures that the organization wants to build in order to assimilate the concept of the insights from the workshops into the culture of the organization. I can give you just one example, which is very new. I told it to the professor yesterday because it's a social anthropology. Exactly. And it was an idea that came from the teachers. And they say, let's teach the children to be human dignity observers. And let's integrate it in the pedagogical curriculum of the school. So we teach them, not we, again, I work with, or the consultant work with the teachers, there is a project manager, and the teachers work with the children, and they teach them what it means to come and to be an observer in a field that they choose. A field can be a bank, a supermarket, a garage, a clinic in the community, a football field, or any place that they want, and they come and they have guidelines, like what they observe behaviors of people that are can be defined as dignified or indignified. And they write, they look, they observe, they write, what do I see? What do I feel about what I just saw? What can I learn from what I saw? What are some alternative behaviors that I can offer? And they bring it to the class, and then they discuss about it. And the observation, the human dignity observation, becomes a lesson in the school. And children just love it. We need the permission from our parents, doesn't matter, but this is, and when I just, and then we finish after 3 years, we conclude everything, and we know that the organization can continue working with his inner sources and his, by himself. And I just remembered, you know, I loved it because I could see that what Professor Magnus taught us yesterday about reflection, action, praxis. And I said to myself, I hope this is what we do. Because we are doing raising consciousness by workshops, it's reflection. We are doing action, which means those structures, and we hopefully get to the praxis. So we can see how we can combine ideas that arise here in our meetings. Okay, last thing. I ask the people, let's think together what can predict success and what can not, what would avoid success. So success and unsuccess. And what people said is that change succeeds only after a preparation. You have to prepare it well. And actually this is the first stage of diagnosis. We had incidents while after the first stage we said we don't want to continue you because there is no chance and it's a waste of time. Not many, but it might happen. And then people say that a change is a process, of course. You cannot, and look at unsuccess, expectations for immediate results. Many times teachers want to see immediate results. We tell them you will not see immediate results. It takes time. People have to change, you know, their concept, their understanding of their behavior. It's not easy. It takes time, and the whole organization is going to be changed. It's not a clinical psychology who works with one person in a clinic and and it also takes time. Ah, what do you say? Yeah, okay, so it takes time. Listening not only through negative ways, but also through positive ways. Grace, what you said. Yeah, the more we use elements of positive psychology, the more we can get with the people and work. We are trying not to blame, not to be right, not to tell them what they should do or not. We have sometimes to reflect. I gave an example of a school with whom I'm working now, that suddenly they told me that when they want to punish, they take a child whose behavior is not good enough, and they tell him to go and to be a whole day in a lower class. This is humiliating. This is something that should not happen. This is a red line. This is something that they have to understand that they must change. Something is moving there, I hope. But working through positive ways, knowing the group that you want to change, of course, you have to know who is the group and what can be done and what cannot be done, and understanding the expectations. Also, unsuccess is leaders who cannot look at themselves. A leader who cannot look at himself and realize where he is not dignifying other people and what he wants to change in himself. If it doesn't happen, it won't work. There's got to be a pain. I said it, and I will just finish with this sentence. If you come to an organization and everybody says everything here is okay, look, the team is wonderful. We have good connections. We love each other. We have such a love, an atmosphere of love. There will be no change. I have nothing to do there. I must find elements of pain, of inconvenience, of something that people feel unhappy about it. And then we can come and connect to the energies that can lead to change. Any questions?
Many.
In Croatia. September 2016, Dubrovnik, a time for question. Yes, my father.
Thank you. I would like to ask you if you think that a human being can lose dignity. For you, I think that a human being cannot lose dignity, but cannot, maybe sometimes cannot dignify him, but he is always worth to be dignified.
This is a very heavy question. And I don't know if I have a right answer. I can tell you, I can just point maybe two insights. Sometimes we are not dignifying people, and we know that we are not dignifying them, but I don't want to get into this. When we put a person in a prison, and all societies put people in prison, putting him in prison is undignifying him. When we hospitalize a human being in a public hospital, it's not dignifying. We tell him to change his clothes, we tell him what he should eat, we tell him what he should not do. This is not dignifying. So there are in our lives incidents of non-dignifying, of not dignifying people, which we cannot change. The question is, how can we create a dignified behaviors in a non-dignified environment? And this is a very heavy question, but I want to say something else that Professor Schlanger taught us in the beginning. In his opinion, and it took me a long time to understand it more profoundly, but in his opinion, dignity is a sort of relationship between people that has to be mutual. In order to, dignity is not something that one person can come and give automatically and not to expect to receive it back. This is another question that I will not open now. So thank you for listening. Yes, Professor.
I have a comment on the statement of Reverend. I think that is a difference.
Okay. Thank you very much.